Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night, people. Deluded, I'm back again. Make sure you're subscribing, you're smashing the like buttons, etc., and getting the creative juices flowing. Now, Arsenal obviously beat Brentford midweek. Nice to get back to winning ways. It's always a crisis when we draw. Couldn't tell you the last time we lost Liverpool, but we've got a big test against Aston Villa. We all know the games at home and away and everything that's been attached between Arsenal and Aston Villa. We obviously know they've got Emre. We saw also what they did midweek, coming from 2 goals down. Every week we hear these connotations about it's the most important fixture of Arsenal's calendar list. But from game week 10 to now, the table is going to start to take shape. Aston Villa are not that far away from Arsenal in the title race on paper. We all know the teams that are purring around it. Them lot won a draw against us in terms of Chelsea and lost to Leeds. We know we know Newcastle, did us a favor against City, but City are there and around. So we're gonna have to win. And 12:30 kickoff is naughty. Obviously, there's a lot of injuries and fitness and minutes in the legs. We're gonna go over what Mikel Arteta has said. It's lovely to see Arsenal signing exciting South American talents. And although we technically won't see these guys at the earliest in an Arsenal shirt competitively or officially or something until 2027, this is what the football club should be doing: sourcing the best players from Haylen, sourcing the best players from all over the world, young players, whether they can progress to the first team or make a profit. Obviously, making smart and competent additions that might not be household names, but come on to be good for our football club. And you know what? With Declan Rice making 105 million look cheap, far removed from when we had other big money signings, maybe bring them in. Arsenal signed twins Edwin and Holger Quintero, which you would have seen already, people, throughout the last week or so. But it's nice to see official confirmation. So they've obviously put pen to paper on a contract, done the media kind of stuff, taking pictures. So now they can go back to their homeland because they can't join us until they're 18. So we've got 12 to 18 months. Go and develop, make as many inroads as they can, playing first team football in Ecuador, probably get into grips with the language in terms of English, doing all that kind of stuff. And a lot can change. But if we fast forward to 2018, obviously the first thing for these young players is actually, in my opinion, adapting off the field. These are 18-year-old lads going from humble beginnings in Ecuador to moving to London and the hustle and bustle of that, being professional footballers, and obviously having to get up to speed technically and tactically with what Arteta would want from hit them at first team level and also academy. I reckon it will either be one of those things where they're part of our first team, but they're playing for the academy, or they're in the academy side and they, cup games and they're training with the first team day in, day out. It all depends on when they arrive, the level that they're at and what they're lacking, people. But great stuff, man. This is what we should be doing. Arsenal have reached an agreement to sign twin brothers Edwin and Holger Quintero from Ecuadorian side Independiente del Valle, with the twins due to join us in August 2027. The 16-year-olds who have grown up in Esmeraldas, Ecuador, will arrive at the club when they turn 18. They will follow in the footsteps of our very own Hincapié, who was born in the same region of Ecuador and is also a product of the same said academy. And also that, if we skip ahead, on top of Arsenal being great with young players and us doing our thing, and Dalman, Saka, Wanyeri, all of these guys, youngish players that are around, and you throw them in, there's a lot of Spanish speakers. They've got their countrymen and their big brother, undoubtedly Hincapié, is probably in conversations with them at this moment in time. And there's several Spanish speakers: Mosquera, Mikel Arteta, Gabriel Heinze, Kepa, Raya. The list goes on, type of thing, people. Edwin and Holger are recognized as two of the most exciting young talents in South America, displaying consistent and impressive performances at the youth level for club and country. Both players have been capped at under 17s international level for Ecuador. Edwin is left-footed, quick, and a skillful dribbler. He operates as a right winger, likes to take on opponents, and has a catalogue of skills. Neymar-esque, if you go and look at him. Holger, I don't think gets enough hype, but he's a baller and has potential in his own right. It's actually a coup, people. Check out the video I did on both of those people. Holger is a technically gifted right-footed attacking midfielder who links play with his progressive vision and also possesses the ability to beat opponents with quick feet. We'll be collaborating closely with Independiente del Valle on their development and well-being of both Edwin and Holger until they arrive at Arsenal. Everyone at Arsenal is excited to welcome the Quintero twins to the club in the near future. The transfer is subject to completion of regulatory processes, in which, I think that's just something they say in it, because you wouldn't go this far to take pictures and do all these things if it went wrong, people. So yeah, we've obviously brought them in. It's nice to see that the record with that club in Ecuador in particular, the players that they bring through, Caicedo, Perez, a couple of other young players have ended up at Chelsea, and Liverpool have been sniffing around. So There's rumors that it's undisclosed, but it could be 9 million. When you look at it, what is 9 million really and truly? If that 9 million turns into, players that become world class, top class, 30, 40 plus million in their own right, great. And if they develop but not quite good enough for Arsenal, and both players are worth, let's just keep it simple and say 20 million a pop, you can't go wrong making a profit in it. So you have that, people. William Saliba has been speaking in the press, people, as well. He's spoken about a lot of stuff, and he's praised, ironically, a Spanish speaker and fellow South American, owing to what we just spoke about, in Gabriel Heinze, people. Gabriel Heinze helps a lot, especially the defenders. He gives us energy because he's always talking, always loud. Even in training, when we do simple things, he's always loud. Even for nothing, he'll be loud. He talks a lot, and it's good to have him close to us. I think this guy can help us a lot. Fair play. Don't think anybody can disagree with that, people. The good times keep going because apparently Maurizio Micheli, who done great work at Napoli in similar vein to what Bert has done at previous clubs, will be linking up at Arsenal. So what Napoli have done and signing players, the Osimhens, the Carrot Skeelers, the list goes on top of what Bert is doing. If you got them two and you got good scouts and we're doing what we need to do there, and on top of what we're doing on the football field immediately in the Prem, this is how we're meant to be moving when we move to the Emirates. We're a long way away from it, but it takes me back to those comments. And I know people don't want to go back to these days, but Ivan Glazides, when we said Bayern Munich level, this is how elite clubs are meant to move. Apparently, Micheli has begun working at Arsenal, joining the club before the start of the January transfer window. And I want to ask you, owing to the injuries, is our club's hand going to be forced in terms of we might need to act in the January window? I still don't think we will. I didn't think we would. If you were to ask me, naturally, I want to get involved in that Semenyo kind of business. But if you were to ask me, I think another midfielder. I know Rice is all action. He plays as an 8, he plays as a 6. But in terms of physicality, and I know there's no God, if anything happens to Rice, I think we're in trouble. So I think that might force our hand, people. Apparently, Micheli has taken up a senior position within Arsenal's recruitment team after leaving Italian giants Napoli. Standard Sport revealed last month that the Gunners were in advanced talks to hire Micheli, and that process has now been completed. The Italian has started to work and was at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday for Arsenal's 2-0 win over Brentford. So why hasn't it been confirmed? Micheli will work under Arsenal's sporting director Berta, who was appointed earlier this year. The club have been looking to add to their recruitment team after assistant sporting director Jason Ito left in May. But and he arrives with a glowing reputation from Italy. He had stints at Verona and Bologna before he returned to Napoli in 2018 for a second spell as head of scouting. They did sign Kim Min-jae and Carrot Skeeler. They did help, which they did help in their own way, Napoli winning the Serie A title, in similar to vein to what Berta did at Atletico Madrid. So you see how these two things correlate and how it can transpire into Arsenal, people. He obviously worked at Udinese. He spotted Hamsik. So, yeah, and obviously you've got James Ellis, who's doing quite well since gaining an even more senior position at Arsenal. Just keep it going. Saliba said he's pleased to play alongside Eze. He was a nightmare to play against. Since I arrived in Arsenal, I played a lot against him and I watch him a lot. He's an unbelievable player. So good technically, he can score and can pass. It was a nightmare to play against him, and to have him in my team now is good because he can bring us top level. He has made important assists on important goals, Bayern Munich and City, both at the Emirates. When we needed him, I think he's not finished. Really gives us a lot of contribution. He's a joy to watch play and be with us. He has the number 10 on his back as well, so he has to be good with the ball. We trust him. We know he's a top player for us. When you give him the ball, he's never under pressure. He trusts himself. Fair play. And we've gone over the Heinze comments already. As finally Saliba said, the last 3 years we finished second. So of course we want to win this league. Now we are first, but we have to stay focused because in this league everything can happen quickly. We know we have to be strong and we have to win every game. If we win every game, of course we win the Premier League, but it's not that easy. I feel like my team understands and have the confidence to win the league, but we have to show it on the pitch because we do not want to finish second again. Smash the like button if you agree with that, folks, people. I mean, so good. We could read that twice, but I don't think we are. Let's see actually what's being said, people. What's this with Declan Rice in delivering more ways than one? It's a lot lengthy piece. I won't bore you lot, but he's speaking facts. Shout out to Rusa for winning Women's November Player of the Month, by the way. But let's start looking at 1-2 things, people, and we'll get into the full press conference in its entirety in just a second. Smash the like button. But I think everyone wants to know the fitness of Rice Trossard and William Saliba. Mikel has said, well, and this is obviously ahead of Aston Villa. Well, let's see. We have another training session in the afternoon. Every hour is going to be very important to see the availability of the players. After that, we'll decide which ones. It's a matter of days with those two, for sure. After the training session, we'll know more. That's in relation to Leandro Trossard and William Saliba. On Mascara, oh, and he suffered an ankle knock. That's the more complicated one. But again, we have another test today to see where we are with them. To be fair with you, boy, as Saliba or Mascara, you need to be involved. If both of them are out, then what do we do? Do you put Timber centre half and put White right back, or do you put White centre half and go with White White at right back and Timber at White at centre half and Timber at right back? Apologies, people. I made a mare of that. If both are out, boy, is what it is, and what is going on with all these injuries. Nonetheless, people, he said we'll have another test and we're with them, and there's another training session. Again, I try my best not to read too much into what Mikel Arteta says about players, because sometimes he makes you believe a player is not going to be available, and then they are. He makes it seem like it's a shoo-in that the player will be available, and then they're not. So you just never know, people. We need to know, because the feeling that we had after the game and yesterday, we need to corroborate with what happens with all the testing that we do today. The only thing I can say is that whenever it's possible to help and give the players an extra day or hours to fulfill the maximum potential, let's do it. We're ready for tomorrow's game, that's for sure. And we will be doing a watch along for that. Arteta has called for consistency against an informed Villa side, people, in which I think in the last 9 games, we've taken 23 points, they've taken 24. So it adds to the fire. And obviously, Emre and things of that ilk. The way they've been playing and winning matches, certainly it's a team that is in great form. We know obviously the manager and the incredible job he's done as well. So we know the task tomorrow, but we always take it as an opportunity. And obviously we're unbeaten in 18 games in all comps, people. Consistency again to perform at the highest level and win another game. Then we'll go back to the same question to the Champions League and then next weekend, because that's the nature of the game. That's exactly how we have to take it every game. Every time you win a game, obviously you're a little bit closer to your objective, and it's the only thing that we can do. We have to focus on preparing, apologies, really well for tomorrow. We know the kind of game that we're going to play and be ready for it to fulfill our potential. Then he said, I think the collective threat they have in terms of how they generate chances, and again, they shoot from outside the area a lot, close them down. And what they do as well, then obviously the quality they have in front from different players. If they continue where they are already, so if they continue what they've been doing, I think any club, any team in that position has chances for sure, people. And let's see if we've missed anything else out. On Rice, let's see. I think with all the questions I'm going to get, the answer, unfortunately, is going to be the same. We have another training session in the afternoon. Every hour is going to be very important to see the availability of the players. After that, we'll decide which ones are available. Now, Arteta, I know you like to play a bit cute and clever and coy. Declan Rice has done you a bit dirty, because he said he'll be fine, if I'm honest, when we all saw the Sky Sports clip after the game. Again, we all know the schedule is kind of what it is. On if Emre has any extra motivation facing Arsenal, I don't think so, because I think wounds have healed and I think he needs to focus on Villa. But naturally, you're going to have that bit between your teeth. They sacked you. I want to cause their misery. And I just want, and my duty is for Aston Villa to win every game. I don't know. I think when you look at Unai Emery's his career, his motivation level, everywhere he's had an impact, it's always been remarkable. So I don't know. That's a question for him. But in my opinion, he never needs anything extra. I think he's good enough in himself. On if this is another statement, we've gone over that. On what does winning our match do to our title rivals? Every time you win a game, obviously you're a little bit closer to your objective, and it's the only thing we can do. We have to focus on preparing really well for tomorrow. We know the kind of game we're going to play and be ready for it to fulfill our potential. We've gone over Mascara. Obviously, if Calafiori gets booked against Villa, he's out for the next Premier League game, which could be against Wolves. That's a start for Miles Lewis-Skelly. Both, especially against Brentford, and especially with the situation that we had at the end of the game with the backline and the numbers that we have there. But Calafiori getting booked didn't happen, so good news. Ollie Watkins is in decent form. I think the collective threat they have in terms of how they generate chances and what they do as well, then obviously the quality they have in the front from different players. And we were linked with Ollie Watkins, so imagine if there's one guy that needs to be stopped and marked against, it's him, innit? And obviously Aston Villa at this moment in time, they probably are in the title hope, people. On if his squad is in its best place, it's been under him. Well, we've built a squad that I believe was the best one to give us the possibility to do it. Is it what I want it to be? No, because of the injuries that we have. To have a squad means that the players have to be fit and available, because that's a lot of consequences, not only during matches, but also in the way they prepare for the week and the options that we have to change and keep the presence in the team. But certainly very happy with how we deal with certain situations. On if teams will drop out of competitions because of the fixture calendar list, hopefully we don't get to that point and everything is manageable. We all learn from it and we continue carrying on with what we do. On if Mikel Merino will be considered a striker if everyone's fit. I think he's earned at least the thinking behind it with the way he's performing and the impact he's bringing to the team. So that's a yes. Do you think he's going to start against Aston Villa, folks? Yeah, and then playing together, even with Victor, it can be Jesus. And there are things that we prepared during the summer because of the squad that we have. And so far, we haven't been able to do that. On managing his players when rotating, we haven't had this situation too many times. I think the problem would be the other one, that you bring someone in and doesn't perform. Then is the decision easy not to play him again? We're not in that position, which is the position that we want to be in, which is exactly that. So basically what he's saying is everybody's fit. Are you doing your job? Obviously, another token in terms of depth is being able to cope with other players not being available. We have players in contention, whether it's to start the game or finish the game or to play whenever the team needs his qualities. That's what we have at the moment with every player. On the challenges of having everybody fit, I hope that we're in a position, and then again, we can maintain and decide for freshness of the team and what is required on the day. What is the best squad to take? A problem that obviously a lot of clubs in this country are very familiar with. We've gone over Mascara on if injuries impact our transfer dealings in January. We always have to be prepared. I mean, the moment that we have an option to touch the squad, to bring to the squad or to protect the squad, depending on what happens, I think we need to be open, for example, on what's going to happen from here till the window is closed as well. It's football, so we don't know, but we're certainly going to be alert and we know where the risk can come in terms of the squad and be ready just in case we have to do something. On if people could leave in January. Well, at the moment, obviously, we haven't had a situation, as we've mentioned before, that players out the squad for 3 or 4 weeks in a row. At the moment, we know that the squad we are full framing with the players that are fit. So at the moment, it's very clear that there's no option to do that. On what he's learned from last season with injuries, certainly learn from those situations. I think looking for situations and being positive and transmitting that positivity and belief to the team is the main thing, because you cannot do anything about it. We have injuries that are totally uncontrollable, especially the ones that were long-term last season. This season, a lot of other things happened as well. Learn from the things that we can control as well and areas that we can improve. First of all, myself, and take it as it comes and enjoy the ride. On if Odegaard can play every 3 days. Again, do you think Odegaard will start? Because a part of me thinks there's Odegaard could start. Eze goes out wide, Marino through the middle. Part of me thinks it'll be the exact same 11 that we've typically seen. I know there was rotations yesterday. I guess what I mean by that is Raya. In an ideal world, Raya, Saliba, one of Mascara or Hincapié, Timber, Calafiori. There's a reality where you might have to go Timber centre half, Hincapié, Benjamin White, obviously Raya, Calafiori, Rice. We know he's going to be there, but even him, Rice, Zubamendi, Eze for me. I'll go with Gyökeres, but you could go with Marino. He might persist with Martinelli again starting because he gives us a lot defensively. And obviously, we know Saka's there. Or do you go with Saka on the left and Madueke on the right? Or do you go Madueke on the left? I don't know, people. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully, I've got the creative juices flowing. I think he's certainly capable of doing that once the injury is resolved. You see the stats, what he did in midweek after 6 or 7 weeks out. It's incredible. We just have another player, another top player that gives us a lot, gives us something different to what we have in those positions. So I'm very happy to have him. To be fair, the first 20 minutes against Brentford, Odegaard, you were quality. Bit like Madueke, both players kind of fizzled out. On having more options as a manager, you can never have too many options. Great. I think it's something I haven't experienced much, especially through long periods of time since I've been here, and it's great. Before the game, it's great because you can think about different ways, different relationships. You can accommodate players for the game that you expect to play. And what is great is that when you look at the bench, you can say, now we can change the game. Or last year, when we were in February to May, look there and we had 2 players really. So that's a huge difference. And again, February to May, I need my players fit. So if we got to act in the market, you got to act in the market, people. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. One love.
I think it's like